Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, introducing you to my Mass Effect 3 Insanity Difficulty video walkthrough. This is Tuchunka, and we're hoping to get some shit done. So I think that this is one of the most challenging missions of the game. And I say this from a personal perspective because the one thing Mass Effect 3's taught me when I talk with my friends is that everybody's having trouble in different areas. And I think it's got to be towards your playstyle and the way you've spec'd your character, because certain playstyles and certain character builds are going to be better at killing certain enemies. And because you have two AI buddies with you, and their behaviour is almost random unless you're ordering them to do everything, it's one of those games where one time you'll try a room and your team will draw fire, they'll be really useful, and you'll just gang rape every enemy, have no issue whatsoever. Then you'll try that room again, and your team will die in seconds, you'll have all the enemies rushing you, and it'll just go to hell in a handbasket before you know where you are. And there never seems to be any real consistency unless you've got a win move or a win strategy for every scenario. And this is a cool thing because it means that everybody's got a different story to tell, and not everybody's it's not the Queen off Gears of War 3 that everybody can agree is kind of fucking shitty. There's a lot of subjective difficulty, and I like that because it means that A, my guide might be used a little bit more, and the entire thing might get used as opposed to just one or two videos being really popular, and B, everybody has that story where they struggle where you necessarily don't. So it breeds unpredictability, and that in a game can be really fun. It can be frustrating, but it can be fun as well. And a good example of this, to clear it up for the people that don't quite follow where I'm going, the hardest part of this game for me is at the end. There is an encounter that has you pretty much defending a rather large area against waves of enemies. And the reason I find it challenging, and I actually did it the first time I tried on my recording run, but on my first playthrough on Insanity, I found it really hard. I got killed a lot. And the reason I died is because they threw heavy enemies at me that I couldn't kill quick enough, and there was stragglers shooting me from a distance, stripping me down. And I was pretty much getting DP'd. It was ridiculous until I found an area that kind of worked, and I got a little bit lucky, and my team performed a little bit better. And because I didn't do any upgrading, I only had 3 metagels, so it got to the point where all my team was dead. I couldn't heal, and I'd got like 2 heavies chasing me and 20 fucking marauders just chilling out. It was bullshit. I didn't like it. There's an achievement for killing a harvester, and you can do it here, but you have to be aggressive because they will fly away. So just be warned. And the escape pod will die if you do not kill the enemies, so make sure you focus on stopping them from attacking it. But that section of the game, my friend Ryan from the podcast had no issue whatsoever. His character build made it so that he breezed that section without any problems. And there's probably going to be a lot of people that will disagree with my commentary for that video, purely based on the fact they didn't have issue, I did. And it's one of those random things. And conversely to this, Ryan had a lot of trouble on a boss fight that is in the elusive man's lair towards the end of the game. And anybody who's played the game now knows exactly who I mean, because this game does not have that many boss fights, so you're immediately going to know who I mean. And Ryan sent me a message the other day over Xbox Live basically saying he was about to fucking quit the game because this dude was pissing him off so much. And my first time through the game, I killed him in one try. Didn't even, take all that much damage. Didn't see the difficulty in it. But when I came back through for the guide, he killed me about 4 times, and it was probably one of the more challenging parts of the game for me. And it just goes to show that it can be a pretty cruel mistress at times. The fights can be random, and it's all based on how it goes down on the battlefield. So everybody's going to have a slightly different experience. But that's pretty cool, and I like it. And if you feel any different, please feel free to drop some comments and let me know your opinion. But I think that the main reason that this is a challenging levels is there's a lot of level changing. And what I mean by this is everybody seems to be on a different altitude. Everybody is either below you, higher than you, or on an escalated path. And it means that you get hit in cover. And I'm a bit of a stickler for cover, me people. I'm one of those type of cats that if I can go into cover, I should not be shot unless the dude is on the side of the cover that I'm on. That should be the rule. I'm not a fan of, you know, getting headshotted because the dude shot the top of his shoulder. That is not cool to me. And in single player, it's even worse, because we've kind of conditioned ourselves through playing third-person shooters now with cover systems that as soon as you go into cover, you're safe and you can regenerate your life. And they've introduced a mechanic that definitely makes it more difficult and is definitely more realistic, but at the same time you're like, you sneaky bastards! Why are you still shooting me? I'm hiding, for God's sake. And it's just it's just one of them silly things that you're either going to love or you're going to hate, and either way it's going to get you killed. But that husk got a little bit close for comfort, so I had to strip him down with the assault rifle. And you may be wondering, why am I using that specific assault rifle? And I've said in a previous video that I do not have an affinity for any of them, and because I'm not going to be upgrading them, I don't have, you know, one gun that's level 4. I just have a bunch of level 1s, so I can just mix and match and have fun and, you know, mix it up if I get bored. So it's a pretty cool feeling. But Liara's just got up from being dead, so either we have a ghost or the enemies have died. But she doesn't look like a ghost, so I'm assuming she's back alive. Maybe she knows Lazarus or Ra's al Ghul from Arkham City, who knows. But the traversal in this level is all pretty simple stuff, climbing over debris, dropping down over holes, and there is one fight that stands out as being hard. The rest of it is it's pretty simple, but the one fight, if it goes bad, Jesus Christ does it go bad. It's and you'll know which part it is, because there's a load of enemies, they throw brutes at you, and then you have to kill a harvester that's going to keep on spawning enemies if you're not careful. But until then, it's just going to be a bunch of husks. So what I should be doing here is changing Liara's spectability to singularity, because if you can get a train of husks running towards you and you drop singularity, all they're going to be doing is they're going to be just floating around like they're on some kind of drug, because there's nothing they can do. It's hilarious. They go 0G, they don't know where they are, and you can just slap them. But I've got stasis because I mapped it earlier on in the game and I forgot to change it, so I'm just kind of using that. As that grenade forces me out of cover and I risk getting shot to shit by the other Reaper there. But that right there is the Harvester's cannon that he hit me with. And you'll notice it's a pretty good shot with it, because there's a piece of cover that they're using in front of me that you would think it would hit and it would not reach me, but that was not the case. And whoever's throwing them grenades is a magician, because he's managing to get them real close to me. Oh, there he is. We saw him in the act. Bloody sneaky bastard. And it makes you wonder, where did they pull those grenades from? Because a buddy of mine said that each of the Reapers represents a different race, which is obviously true, because they assimilate the forms, and the cannibals are part one race, and they have a human as their arm or something silly. The part one race, part human. I don't know which one it is specifically, because my short-term memory is a bag of shit. I can literally see information getting poured out of my ear. But, ooh, I've not mentioned that. So, what you just witnessed there, if you've not seen it or you don't understand it, the Marauders have the ability to buff other Reapers. And he does a little shout, he gets some crazy red things on his body, and you'll see like red electricity go onto one of his buddies. And what it does is, it gives them armor, effectively. And it's kind of these mismatched polka dot patch of red, like bloody chunks of meat. It looks kind of weird. I don't know what it is. I've not read the fucking books, so I'm not up on this. But what it does is, if you shoot that part of their body, they will not take damage. You have to aim for their actual flesh. If you don't, you're just going to waste ammunition. And on a game that's already pretty scarce on ammunition as it is, unless you upgrade your weapons, you're going to be, you don't want to be wasting ammo. It's just not what you want to do. But Garrus might be a good idea, or EDI for this mission, because she's called ED. I do apologise, I don't know why I call her EDI, it's just one of those things. I use her name like an acronym, and it's probably not the best way to pronounce it. But the reason I would maybe suggest using them over maybe the fat dude, good old James Vega, or whatever his name is she has both Overload and Incinerates, and if you put a load of points into both of them, you can knock a Marauder's shields and then you can set them on fire, because if anything has armor, Incinerate is really good against armor. Look at that shit. That I really should write down some of the things that bug me about this game so I can remember to bring them up on the podcast, because I always forget about the little metagame things that really get on my nerves, and that is one of them there. People say Black Ops has bad hit detection, Modern Warfare has bad hit detection. Anybody that just saw that, you witnessed me put a bullet through that guy's fucking skull and he didn't even blink. That was like a phantom round. It was ridiculous. And for a sniper rifle that shoots once and then reloads, you don't want that happening. It's not what you want. They've also added a pretty clunky, protect an NPC section to this level. It might be the next mission, or I think it's this one actually. But the only remotely challenging aspect of it is they drop an Atlas off, and if you don't realise that there's a rocket launcher, he's extremely difficult to kill before he gets to the Turian and turns him into gravy. But I'll tell you more about that on the next video, so you take care now.